Hi there, this is a quick update. Filming has officially wrapped on House of the Dragon Season 2. As of yesterday, Friday, September 29th. Now, exterior filming ended a month ago, then they shifted to interior filming for September. They are done now with principal photography. This is messed up a bit by the writer's strike, but the writer's strike finally ended this week. And they did say way back in May when all this started, the head of HBO Drama said, "We're not going to rush this out as a flagship show to meet an arbitrary deadline. We will delay the release if we need to let the writers come back and do rewrites and maybe a month's worth of reshoots." At the moment, with material, everything is in flux now, is just the point. This is really just a trailer for my videos after this, just to market, but everything is in flux now. They did tentatively say we're eyeing summer 2024 as more of a way to say not spring. I think 90% we're looking at summer, but does that mean July or August? I don't know. I'm saying it is possible that they might... We can't rule out that they might release this next fall if they feel they need to stretch their schedule out. I mean, for example, True Detective Season 4 with Jodie Foster is looking pretty Lovecraftian stuff in the Arctic. That was supposed to come out in fall. They pushed it back to January of coming up in a couple of months. So they pushed that back even though it was finished. Maybe they'll put House of the Dragon back. It depends on what else they have to fill in their schedule. And maybe it won't even be a smart decision. Like, we're trying to guess the choice of the HBO programmers when they are fallible humans who might pick the wrong thing. It's probably going to be summer. I'm aiming for summer. I hope it's delayed because it gives us more time to prepare for it. But, okay, summer is looking pretty good here. But there really isn't that much difference. Like I said, the cutoff for the Emmy dates is the end of May. So whether something comes out in April or July is big for them because it affects the Emmy cycle versus summer and fall are in the same Emmy cycle. It wouldn't really make a difference whether they put it out. But it's not just HBO. Everything's schedule is screwed up because of this. House of the Dragon was able to keep filming because they use a European actors union. So they could film even though the Screen Actors Guild went on strike in America. Like other shows like Lord of the Rings Season 2 was a few weeks ahead of us in filming. They said we were able to wrap right before the strike started for the actors' strike, so it didn't affect anything. But because we knew that they're not making that up. They were a few weeks ahead of us production-wise. But the writers' strike affected their ability to do reshoots, and they said we'll come back and do as many reshoots as we need to get it right. And they can, like, this might affect like what would have been an exterior scene, they'll refilm as an interior scene or something. What matters is the characters doing it right. And I don't really think that'll affect anything. I am unconcerned about this. And quick version, I'm going to make a longer video about what happened with the strike, because I made an earlier one on the history of strikes as a podcast. They really won with this. Short version is the studios were utterly stunned when the Screen Actors Guild joined them in solidarity. That the Screen Actors Guild hasn't gone on strike in 40 years. They're 10 times the size of the Writers Guild. And according to all reports, like from Vulture, they were just the studios were sitting around stunned for 2 months, not knowing what to do. This is stupidity. This people living paycheck to paycheck. This really hurt. And the anger that they had, that it took a week's worth of negotiations when we actually sat down and did it. That it was them stonewalling us if we refused to even negotiate with you. They said we're going to starve you out because of the strike. And just the strike could have ended 2 months ago, and the writing was on the wall, as it were, when the Screen Actors Guild went on strike. That, yeah, we're not going to win this. They were so stunned, they didn't know what to do other than double down and stick to their guns. They didn't have a plan. They were just in shock after SAG went on strike. So that is deeply infuriating. I'll talk more about that later. But in terms of the effect on us, that it synced up that just as filming and principal photography ended, the strike ended. When can we see the first teaser trailer? Because last time the first teaser trailer came out in October 5th of that year. That after they were done, they were actually still filming in 2021, but October 5th, 2021. It was mostly scenes from the first half of the season plus episode 7, because that's what they filmed first. They filmed episode 7 first, so most of it was from that. Maybe. That the caution I gave in prior videos was, even after photography ends, I don't think we're going to see a trailer until the writer's strike is over. But now the writer's strike is over. So does that mean they could, I don't know, cut and paste together a teaser trailer as early as next week? I can't say they will, but the odds have increased. Question is, how much have they increased? But please keep tuning back for viewership clicks, because, yeah, but seriously, any day they could suddenly drop a teaser trailer without warning. It's not like they give us a heads up on these things, a trailer for the trailer. So that'll be great, because that would get so much attention back. When you look at a Google Trends map of how much people have been searching for this, because the gap between seasons on Game of Thrones, from when they went from the season finale would be in like May, and then the filming leaks would be coming out in July, because they started filming in late July. That's like a 1 to 2 month furlough. Versus, combined with, they took a gap in early spring to plan out the later seasons more. Then just as they started filming in April, there was a writer's strike. They were actually filming things, but they couldn't promote it with stuff because of the strike. Online traffic now for House of the Dragon is 3% of what it was during the airing of Season 1. When for Game of Thrones, during the gap, it would be like 15%. The viewership is down to nothing. And not just me. If you look at all the other channels, it's pretty much what's going on here. So I'm looking for a bigger uptick in this, that suddenly people have a vested interest, not just in clickbait about Rhaenyra and Daemon, but what's going on with, like, Rhaena, or Cregan Stark, or Sarah Snow. I want to know these things. This is just a quick trailer on filming has ended. I have just finished making my last filming report on the Rook's Rest stuff. We are done with filming reports. We happen to be up to speed with casting reports for now. And I will be making videos on Season 2 filming overview in terms of the schedule of the overall season. Where do we go from here? We might get a teaser next week. I hope we do, because I love those, and I don't want to delay the season as much as you want, but give me as many trailers as I can pick apart for analysis. That's the fun that drives the fandom. That's what we'll be doing here. So I want to pick that apart. I'll make updates about what the strike did, that they really, after they got over, they were so shocked for 2 months that the studios basically caved in to almost all of their demands. These are the biggest wins the Writers Guild has had since the last time the Actors Guild went on strike 40 years ago, that they didn't really win the last 2 strikes. They won this strike. So how does this affect the wider franchise, like the Duncan Egg Show, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, some of the other things? We don't know. The point is, the machine of Hollywood has started up again, but the gears, they're a little rusty, that you need to grease them. And I don't blame them for that. It's things were so shut down that everything's in flux, and they need to get back on their feet. It might be a couple of weeks before they start planning out future things again, like when are they going to film Season 3, when do they intend for it to air, much less what do they intend for Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So I don't expect news right away, because everyone is so exhausted. I'm exhausted from this, from the lack of news, from the lack of promotion, because people couldn't do promotions during this. And that opens up so many other things. The Actors Guild will probably sort their stuff out in a few weeks, but this double event here, this double blow of the strike and the writer's strike ending just as principal photography ended, this caps off a news cycle we've had since April, when the strike started like May 2nd, but we were talking about it since April, with the strike, with the filming news has dominated what we were finally hoping for since April. Where the heck was my list of projects back in March? Going over Season 1 stuff, of how they filmed it and behind-the-scenes things. I have a mountain of behind-the-scenes notes to share with you guys on how they made Season 1, which are really interesting, but I have to get through. But if you're wondering, like, oh God, what do we do from now? I've been constantly complaining I have to go through all of the interviews from cast and crew on Season 1, the making of book, and I want to share it with all you guys. There's a ton of info to go over. A lot of info. And for the clickbait channels, they're like, what do we do now? For me, when filming is done, I get to do what I wanted to do, get back to my long-term research projects on this, of how they made it, interesting behind-the-scenes things. So actually, this is the capstone to the filming cycle and the strike. And who knows, maybe next week they'll have Martin give a blog update on. This is the revised schedule for what we're doing with Night of the Seven Kingdoms in Season 3. I'm not sure. Would they be able to have a teaser cut together from material they already have that doesn't have dragons in it, just, like actors staring at the camera, no dialogue, like the first teaser we got? Could we get that first week of October? With every passing day, it becomes a greater possibility. That I kept saying, if photography ends but the strike goes on through Christmas, which some people were worried it would, because they said if this doesn't get finished by October, they're not going to bother rehiring people for half a TV season. They're going to wait until January. That was a real thing Variety was saying. But now that filming has ended and the strike has ended, we could start seeing promos. Even still shots would be fun. So I have been really beat from this because I started a new job. I could only report every other day. Messed up my schedule. I just managed to catch up with filming reports just as filming ended. So I'm so far behind on this. I know I keep saying that, but I am. But for other channels going, what are we going to do now? Make up lies? I got a ton of stuff to share with you of how they made Season 1. And I have to type it up as wiki articles, and so much work that, like a full 12 months ago, I thought I'd be able to keep pace with Season 1 as it came out. This is what we do in the off-season. This is when we catch up. And due to all sorts of problems with being sick, work, other things going on, I've missed so many things. And it lines up so beautifully. End of September, we're done. Now, a fresh calendar day for the next cycle of we're done with the strike nonsense, we're done with filming, principal photography, into October. Well, I'm going to be capping off Season 2 filming overview and schedule stuff. For like a month, I'm going to do Lord of the Rings stuff. Because remember, my channel got demonetized because of that auto-generated content thing that they don't take time to check. That I am not a robot. Guess what? That and other people using AI stuff. So my chance for renewal, where I get to argue again, they didn't clearly explain. It's not a copyright thing. It's a prove you're not using ChatGPT, which other channels are blatantly using ChatGPT, and I'm not. And I don't know, but the point where I can remonetize my channel is November 12th. So between now and November 12th for 6 weeks, I'm going to take care of some other fandom odds and ends, like the Lord of the Rings stuff. I have this comparison between this other project I was really looking forward to was, it's actually 2 paired videos. What were the ratings like of House of the Dragon versus Lord of the Rings? And what were the ratings, what was the king of HBO Max? What was the ratings for House of the Dragon versus Succession versus The Last of Us? And different shows led in different respects, but it depends on how you measure it. And it was interesting the way it came out. So I'm going to be doing catch-up for the next month, assuming a trailer doesn't come out, but that's a problem you want to have. Leading up to when November 12th my channel gets remonetized and I can start going over... I had to stop my reports on the making of book when filming started. And all of the Season 1 interviews, and with the creators, not just the endless casting, like with the production staff, directors and writers, podcasts they did, which I normally data mine with a fine-tooth comb. I can finally get back to doing that, and I'll make another schedule video about it. But we survived this long, and the Selden plan continues. Wait for the next crisis.